and welcome to another episode of The Digital Blueprint. I'm Jim Lather, joined with Levi Smith. Levi, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Our topic today are social media best practices for small and medium-sized businesses. Now, Levi, you're a social media strategist, and you specialize in that type of work, correct?
Sure do.
Give us kind of an idea of what your day-to-day is.
So it kind of depends on the time of month. So beginning of the month, I will work a month ahead, looking at calendars, social ads for the following month, kind of creating a strategy, build a plan for what's to come, get ahead because you gotta be ahead of everything.
No question about it. We're going to talk a lot about really some marketing disciplines as we talk about how to effectively write social media for a small business, and really organization, discipline, a plan, all of those things come in. What do you think the most important thing is for a business owner as it relates to social media?
With any business, the biggest thing in social media is consistency. You got to be consistent. Too many small businesses nowadays, they get a Facebook because they think they have to, and what they do is they just post every so often whenever they feel like it. And you got to be consistent. You have to have a plan. You have to have a purpose with every post. It can't just be like, just a random picture. It has to be consistently. You have to have good content out there.
And so for your clients, you actually, as you mentioned, will work a month in advance, and you'll have like a roadmap of what you're going to post that month. Would that be correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And I would think that would be essential. And so there's many options out there. When we talk about social media, you mentioned Facebook. Of course, there's Instagram, LinkedIn. How would a business owner really know what channel to use?
Yeah, so first you kind of got to dive into what your goals are with your social media, and then you got to think about what each social media is good for. So Facebook is really good for that, building a community, the events, just really driving a broad audience too. Facebook is very brand driven, very not commercial, but it's almost products, behind the scenes stuff, lots of reels going out now, sort of like TikTok, which is good for fast-paced, short-form video, lots of humor, a lot of also behind-the-scenes stuff. It really gives people the face to the name.
Tell me a little bit now about Instagram and YouTube.
So Instagram, a lot of reels. Reels are actually the best for organic content right now.
What's a reel?
A reel is a short-form video between, it can be very short, 5 seconds, up to a couple minutes to a minute. Typically about 15, 30 seconds, and it's just a little video optimized for mobile, specifically vertical videos that just perform really well, fast-paced, short-form content, lots of movement, pictures, videos, lots of words, just eye-pleasing.
How would I know if that is right for my business? Is it all dependent upon, do I have that type of content? Or?
Sure, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say if that is content that you can grasp, I think it's beneficial for almost any business.
Sure. So what's a good example of a business that would have that type of content?
I would say, just as an example, like a restaurant.
Okay.
Let's say they make a fast-paced reel of an order from, the kitchen, and it's got some cinematic scenes, some cool movement, or like making up a drink or something like that. Just showing your product, but also serving it on a platter of like good content.
Okay. So if I'm a financial planner,
Sure.
Probably not the right channel for me.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I wouldn't say so, no. Unless some businesses do really well with the reels. It's like humor-based, some fun. That could also go into TikTok too, where you see all the TikTok trends and the fun office trends. A lot of people do like stuff like that as well.
All right, we talked a lot about TikTok. Let's talk about Instagram and then YouTube.
Sure. So YouTube, obviously, long-form video. It educational, informational. They also are running the shorts, so it's kind of like reels. Shorts can usually be a snippet of one of your longer form videos and really give people a little clip of what's to come, and then they can find your video from there. And I think that's a really good way of promoting a longer form video. So YouTube is a great platform if you have something like a podcast or a business that can create longer form videos.
Sure. And when I think of what a small or medium-sized business is trying to accomplish, is they're always trying to get more sales.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so if I'm on, let's say, YouTube, and I'm What would be a good industry for that? And really, what's the time investment to make those videos?
YouTube can be, a lot of industries can be in the YouTube community. I would say even like a construction business can be in YouTube community if you have the right content, like we've been talking about. If you can get, the drone footage, the videos, the before and afters, getting some interviews, talking with the team through the process. That's just an example. But I mean, if you have the content to create a 5 to 10, 15-minute video of what your construction company does and how they go through it all and make it compelling enough to watch all the way through, you can thrive.
I agree with everything you're saying, but I have seen this so many times. I have the content today because I have the time today. 6 months from now, guess what?
Right.
It's crickets. And so now I've got a YouTube channel that has been posted on for 6 months. I never grow an audience. I never develop an audience. And so what you're saying is 100% true, but you have to understand, if you're running a business, the time investment it would take to really build out a thriving YouTube channel, right? If I'm going to teach golf videos around the country, and my end game is to be sponsored by a bunch of golf training aids, makes perfect sense.
Sure.
But those instructors are teaching and releasing content every single day.
Got to be consistent.
Right. So a small business person doesn't necessarily have that time. So maybe, unless they do, that might not be a great one, but that's why I like Facebook and I like Instagram. Talk to me now about the cross-posting and what an advantage that can be to someone that, not to trivialize it, but with minimal effort.
Sure, yeah. So Facebook and Instagram are the top dogs of social media. They have the most users, and they're owned by the same company, which makes it really easy to cross-post because you can go into the Meta Business Suite and post, and you can link your Facebook and Instagram, and they're on one entity, and you can post content under both of them at the same time, schedule posts ahead. It's very simple.
Right. And I love that. And the simplicity is a thing. And you know what? Even someone maybe in the trades, maybe at home services, the thing I hear all the time is, I don't have time. I don't have time for an appointment about advertising, right? I don't have enough time to go talk to my attorney. I don't have enough time to get to my kid's soccer game. That's why a person like you exists. You eliminate the need to spend 6, 8, 9, 10 hours a week posting on social media.
Yeah.
And what I love about it is that the end client can always participate when they do have time, right?
Of course.
Something comes in that's super exciting, they can post in tandem with you, correct?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so I love the fact that you create that solution, because the objection I hear when trying to talk to a business owner about any topic is they don't have time. I don't have the resources, right? All right, good. Now let's talk a little bit about content, okay? How often do you write for your clients? How often do you post? Do you boost? How does all that work?
Yeah, so I would say, well, actually, I know a minimum 2 times a week. We do 2 times a week, two boosts per month.
Okay.
So boosted posts, great to utilize. It's kind of like putting a megaphone to a single post, getting it out there because organic content is declining. So reaching your audience with a boosted post is vital. At least twice a month, and budget depending on what you can spend. 2 times a week minimum. Ideally, if you can, 3 to 5 times a week if you have the time. Not everybody does, but the more consistent you are and the more quality content you put out, the more engagement you'll get.
One thing I also see businesses do incorrectly, and I understand why they're doing it. There's a lot of businesses out there that think, gosh, I have a social media channel. This is my salesperson. And they don't realize that, no, your salesperson is your website. Your social media platform is your community, right? It's how you build and strengthen your brand.
Right.
But they sell when they write, and they sell when they write, and they sell. And there's some industries that are they just can't get out of their own way. Car dealers, casinos, it's every other post, or every post is selling. What do you like to see the mix?
I think it needs to lean more towards value-based, personality-driven sort of content. You can have promotional posts without the salesy sort of lingo in there. It doesn't need to be about, oh, buy this, call now for a quote, do all this. You need to have some personality, because that's where you connect with your community, is your social media page.
Okay. Now let's talk about, I also see this mistake, and we want to help people if they're going to do it themselves, or they're going to hire a professional like you. We want to make sure that, the 200 million people that are small and medium-sized businesses that have a social media page on, say, Facebook, that they do it right. Okay, so let's talk about cheesy graphics stock images. What's your opinion on that?
It's a no. It doesn't work. Facebook actually favors organic content. It knows when the image is stock, when the graphic was quickly, cheaply made on Canva or whatever. It really pays to have that organic content, even if it is just a picture that you took on your phone in whatever business you're in, of your employees. That will drive engagement, regardless of what it is.
You've mentioned organic a couple of times, and I feel like we would be remiss if we don't address it. People sometimes think because it's free, it's the end-all, be-all. They might live in a town of 100,000 people. Let's say they have 10,000 followers on Facebook. What they don't realize is it truly is pay-to-play. What is the percentage of organic content that Facebook will let get out there?
Right now, it is just under 5%. At almost a maximum. Sometimes it's only 1%, and so it really is pay to play.
That's crazy. And so think about that. All of the effort. I read the other day that a realtor spent 8.9 hours a week posting on Facebook. So a full business day,
right,
weekly.
Wow.
To reach 5% of whatever followers. And so let's take that example of 100,000 people. I guess when I'm talking to that prospect, I would say, well, gosh, that means you're only missing, what is that? 99,000 people. I mean,
right.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, between the 1% and 5%. And I don't say that to business owners to scare them, but I don't think they understand. It really, truly is the dirty little secret. And I read the other day on Google that Meta publicly stated that they are moving to a complete pay-to-play model. And so that's boosting or ads. So let's talk a little bit now about ads.
Yeah, so ads are a lot more refined. With you can enhance whatever traffic you want to drive, whether it's your website, phone calls, learn more, get a quote. You can really drive a demographic. You can hone in on a certain demographic, whether it's the interests of behaviors, what they look at on Facebook. That will pop up on their feed more. So your ad, you can allocate it to this demographic in this city. Males 25 to 40 that like this interest, they do this behavior they've got. And so it really is, it's much more than boosting, and it drives a lot more traffic.
All right, so I think I have a clear distinction between what boosting and social media ads are. The business owner always wants to know the same thing. How do I know how much to put behind an ad campaign? Are there any secrets there or any advice you would give?
Yeah, so I found a statistic where small businesses typically allocate about 5 to 15% of their annual revenue to marketing. So of that 5 to 15%, you got to put some towards social media. Maybe it's 10%, maybe it's 25%. So get that base budget and figure out, percentages. Get that budget and put it towards a campaign. It doesn't have to be a ton. It can be $300, $500 a month, but something is better than nothing every time.
Without question. And you really can't understate the impact that can happen with a good social media ad campaign. Right. It really is a great way to expand that. So again, what you do for your clients and what we would kind of consider best practices, 2 posts per week, 2 boosts per month, and an ad budget based on gross sales and maybe even competition.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Well, in summary, social media is not difficult. You can do it yourself, but to do it correctly, it will take a significant time investment, right? You also need the skill to write correctly. You need to have some creativity. You need to have unique photos, videos, and discipline. And if you're like most business owners, sometimes you simply don't have the time. So when you are interviewing a company like what Levi works for, or an advertising agency, or whoever you want to trust to help you with your social media, better make sure that they can answer those specific questions. Do I get a content calendar? What is your reach and frequency plan? Okay? And what are the details of what I'm going to get? In fact, I love you. We didn't even mention this. You actually pre-write all of the content for the next month, deliver it to your client for their approval, and they simply say yay or nay.
Yeah. So by halfway point of each month, I make sure that each calendar gets to each client, and that gives them 2 weeks to, get back to me on any changes that they want. Maybe they got some new photos in, they got some different content they want to change out, or even they don't even like the wording or something like that. It gives them 2 weeks to go back and forth, change it up, make sure it's perfect for the month ahead.
I absolutely love that. So remember, if you're going to hire it out, hire a pro like Levi. Levi, thanks so much for being on.
Thank you.
And we hope you enjoyed this episode of The Digital Blueprint.